I want to ask you if we can figure out who are the best and worst characters from the history of Saturday Night Live.
How much are we playing into it? Our favorites, because I've
just whatever you actually like.
Okay, because I have favorites that if I was being objective.
Well, look,
I'm
not putting the cheerleaders on this, even though some people would say like, oh, that's a legendary thing. I'm not putting the samurai on this.
The stuff in the packages.
Yeah, those things that are. I'm just going to start it off right now.
Please.
Best number 3. Merv the Perv goes at number
Parnell.
3. Chris Parnell, Mervyn Watson, one of my all-time favorite. It's one of the most deliberately. It's like they put it in that package on the 50th special where it was like, these are the things we need to apologize for from the past. But the whole point of that was that they were, with time, they were offensive. People realize, oh, well, this is a.
At one point, we thought this was acceptable.
Exactly.
With time and maturity and the shifting of the culture, we realized this was very off base. And we're
wildly missed the target and it's offensive. Merv the Perv was designed to be offensive.
Right.
That was not, what? You didn't like?
I think this Merv the Perv character was a little perverted.
You were offended by Merv the Perv? Like, it's just built to be horrible. Merv the Perv makes number 3.
And that had a theme song, right? Did Merv the Perv had a theme song?
Yeah, it did. It's like laughing. It's like I forget. Yeah, it was like laughing and loving. Merv the Perv. I'm talking about love. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Merv the Perv makes the list. Chris Parnell, one of the most underrated. I feel.
Oh yeah.
There's that kind of SNL like a cast member who is they're the glue people.
He knew how to serve a sketch without having to steal the spotlight.
Exactly. Yeah.
He was the kind of guy you would want to put in a sketch going like, chocolate man, what are you doing? Because he's not going to blow up the spot.
Yeah. No, he'll serve the writing. And thank you. Juan is saying in the chat, I loved Parnell's current hair. He looked amazing. I thought he looked really cool. And Jacob in the chat is saying, based on the comedy of, it was Mervyn Watson, not Purvison, sorry. And there was a picture of Merv the Perv just popped up on the screen when he would do that number 3 on the list. Who would be a character would be on your best and one that would be on your worst?
Okay. So there were characters that Armisen and Forte would do together on Update. Maybe did it 5 times over the course of 6 years or something. Okay. On Update, they would come. It was Patrick and Gunther Kelly. Was the name of these characters, and they would be brought on with the introduction that they were going to help simplify a very complicated problem with a song. And sometimes it would be like the spread of SARS or taxes or something that the public had a hard time. And then the song would start playing, and they had different variations on this, but the songs would just be like, Armisen would go, yeah, and then Forte comes in with 2 octaves higher. Never any words. I think once they went, listen up, listen up, listen up, and then Forte screams. To me, it was very pure, silly comedy, and Forte shrieking will always make me laugh.
Always good.
The Kelly brothers for me is up there, but I recognize it's a very niche.
Look, you're here for this, and that's the point of this list. And also, first of all, everybody, 201-989-0012 if you want to call and pitch your favorite and least favorite SNL characters. We're doing top 10 and bottom 10. Number 8, put
the Kelly brothers.
Put the Kelly brothers in number 8.
But worst on the other side of this coin. There's always been a character that has been confounding to me.
Yeah.
I was not around in this character's heyday. Seemed to have a life beyond SNL.
Okay.
Father Guido Sarducci.
That's a tricky one. Yeah.
Could you explain to me, if you know, what was the joke?
Well, it was Don Novello.
Right, a writer slash featured player towards the end.
Yeah.
came back, I think, during that weird season, kind of non-consecutive cast member terms. But the idea he was a man of the clergy. He was a cardinal or something, and he smoked. That was the joke. It
was just that he was doing this like he was this Italian accent and was just talking about just the church and the things, but it was kind of like talking like the real version of things. It sucks, and that goes at number 6. Father Guido Sarducci.
Yeah,
where would you put Mango on the list?
This Mango. What to do with Domingo?
Yeah,
I was kind of hoping Domingo would perhaps be related to Domingo at the 50th.
Domingo and Domingo. Look, you should have been in that room.
Or maybe Domingo.
Yeah.
We could have got those guys in there. There were a lot of opportunities.
Look, they're going to do one of these next year, but SNL 51.
Why not? It's lucrative.
Yeah.
I think I'm neutral on Mango.
Okay.
And I haven't revisited in a fair way.
Sure.
A divisive character.
Yes. People, I really find there's two different things. Either people hate Mango or they despise Mango. There's really two different people have two different. There's that era where there was a certain type of character, and it's kind of the Catan Oteri axis.
Yes. Broad.
Simmer down now.
Sure.
That has to make the list.
It feels, I don't know if this is a written rule or an unspoken rule. You don't see a lot of characters on SNL crossing their eyes. It almost seems like that goes a little too far for their sensibility.
Yeah,
but what you're describing feels like as close to that as we got.
That to me is, and don't take this the wrong way, it's very Groundlings kind of thing. Where it's
both those people.
The biggest characters.
The biggest wigs.
And the kind of characters, like, if I was working on SNL and Cheri Oteri, who I think is funny, came in and started doing some of that, I'd say, you take that stuff over to Mad TV.
Let's go with Grumpy Old Man.
Carvey.
Dana Carvey doing the, you win that. In
my day.
Yeah, that character. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I would say I can't remember their character names, but the Wild and Crazy Guys.
I think that's the name. The Frustrunk brothers.
The Festrunk. That was. Yeah, look,
that's a bit much sometimes.
That worked as something of the time.
Yeah, I don't fully understand what they are parodying, but I trust that there was something.
It just seems like it's like disco trash. And they're just making fun of foreigners also coming to America and not
time modern tradition in sketch comedy.
Exactly. Yeah. That's pretty bad. Number 9, Wild and Crazy Guys. No, the Festrunk brothers. I'm not going to put the old man in the top.
Yeah, that's all right. Sorry.
You know that. You knew
that's cool.
You made the list in some fashion.
Be happy.
Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts? Any other characters?
Who did I have? What do we think about the Ladies' Man?
The Ladies' Man was
Tim Meadows.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think what his name was. It was
Leon Phelps.
Leon Phelps, yeah. I mean, I think he might end up between both of these. That
seems fair.
I would not put him on either side of the thing.
A solid character that they probably went back to the well too many times.
Yeah. Yep.
Great movie. Thinks so. Tim Meadows.
Starring,
no.
Who does the cameo in Ladies' Man?
Kevin McDonald.
Julianne Moore is in it.
Is the Ladies' Man the one that Bruce McCullough directed? Was that Superstar?
He directed Superstar.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Bruce McCullough.
Yes.
Yeah.
He directed. Yes.
The very same.
I had no idea.
Yeah. All right. Any other observations, thoughts while we have you on?
I was missing I was missing McKinney in the 50th. That would have been nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was one of those.
But, he was...
that's one of those rickety eras.
He's more
sure was
allied to Studio 60 at this point.
Yes, he's...
So...
Yeah. Now... All right, thanks for the call.
Thanks, Tom. Bye.
I missed Mark McKinney in the 50th anniversary.
McKinney's all over the season 11 doc because he was there writing before he left to do Kids in the Hall and then came back as a cast member. He occupies an interesting space.
He took a job. He took a job before Kids in the Hall was a thing,
right? Because he must have had some connection with Lauren, and I think Bruce was also there at that point as a writer. I think. I'm speaking out of turn here, but
so, thank you. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that was on my list. Goat Boy,
who I actually went and watched a Goat Boy sketch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say this. You talk to people from SNL, they go, they're not skits, they're sketches.
Mm-hmm.
Goat Boy's a skit.
Sure.
Some of them are skits.
And that it's fair.
Goat Boy is a skit. Making copies. Where are we at on? That's a rough character.
Yeah.
Well, look. Rob Schneider's going to make the worst 10 list. It's a matter of let's figure out which Rob Schneider character. Is it Tiny Elvis?
I kind of like Tiny Elvis.
Okay,
I certainly like Tiny
Me too.
Elvis more than I like making copies.
I love Tiny Elvis, but actually he wasn't Tiny Elvis. Nick Cage was Tiny Elvis.
That's right. You're right, Pat.
He was one of the hometown cronies. He was like, "You got it, Big E, Little E, rather."
Okay. Yeah, I say
the Steve Meister, which I guess is what we would call
Steve Meister. Put him on the list. Let's just wrap Rob Schneider out of this thing, and we don't have to talk about him anymore.
That's a wise move.
Number 4, Steve Meister. Now, Pat,
sorry, real quick. I was told we got to bring up Richard Lamer. Oh, the Richard Lamer is the name of the character. My apologies.
Okay.
Oh, the Rich Meister. Excuse me.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Pat, who's your favorite and least favorite SNL character?
Oh man, I have so many. We just said Tiny Elvis. Honorable mention. We gotta give Phil Hartman a shout. I'm gonna say Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer's got to be on there for best.
For Phil Hartman, I would say there's a couple Phil Hartman things that are great.
They only did Robot Repair once. Would that not count as a character if it's not recurring?
What about the anal retention carpenter?
Like that feels like that was like a real showcase of Phil Hartman's ability. The anal retentive character.
Yes, the anal retentive chef, the anal retentive carpenter.
Like it showed Phil Hartman holding the thing by himself. Mm-hmm. I always have a soft spot, though, even though this might not make the list, for Phil Hartman when he did the Reagan impression. When he's like, well, little girl, okay, you want the thing, and then they shuttle the kid out of the room. He's like, all right, war room. Like he's doing that Phil Hartman voice, him yelling. Let's put what would you say for Phil Hartman? Jeff?
Ooh, I would go Unfrozen Caveman. I think, especially because that was not a sketch that does well in the room, and there's something about that he's giving such a great performance, and he doesn't need the audience to be going nuts.
And it is the oily Phil Hartman character, like Phil Hartman as a sleaze. Yeah, exactly. I feel like put Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer number 9. The numbers are so arbitrary on this.
I don't think so. The way I'm watching you orchestrate this.
Worst character, Pat?
I would say either Mr. Peepers or the entire cast in B Hospital.
Mr. Peepers is pretty bleak.
He's eating that apple.
Mr. Peepers is when you're just like, can we get Mango back in here? Yeah, look, Mango I ultimately don't have a problem with in the scheme of things. Mr. Peepers, I
More offensive.
I
You
would
talk
say.
about Mad TV.
Yeah,
Mr.
Peepers is a-
Peepers is very Mad TV coded.
Eating that apple.
Yeah.
Mr. Peepers, number 5 on the worst list. Mike?
Yeah, this is going to be controversial. My number 1 is Cheri Oteri. Simmer down now.
Mike, that's not... Is it your favorite?
Yeah.
Well, it is controversial.
Her as Judge Judy.
Not as good.
That's number 1 for you.
Yeah.
50 years.
Yeah.
And simmer
That's what-
down now.
She made me laugh.
That's what got him.
The look on her face. I bet it was. I don't know what her source material for that was, but she probably knows somebody like that.
That's the thing for all of them, yeah.
It
Like,
seemed real,
Yeah.
you know.
like when Martin Short would do Nathan Thurm, like that was an impression of a woman who worked at SNL talked like that. That somebody who worked up there during that era told me, just like, oh, that was him doing an impression of this woman, and she had no idea that he was
after
doing her.
even
Like,
after seeing
I know
it.
that. Like, I know that. It's funny that you would think I wouldn't know that. Like that was somebody up there talked like that, and he turned it into. Where would you put Ted Brogan on the list?
Which I'm sorry.
That's the default name for about 5 different Will Ferrell characters.
Okay.
Like the sketch where Chris Kattan's a little kid and the baseball players start coming out of the closet. Like he's like, "Hey kid, I want to tell you to keep your dreams alive and stuff." And then like real baseball player after real baseball player keeps coming out, and then the final one is Will Ferrell with a dog, like a mean dog, and he has the kid to like stash a gun in his bedroom. And he's like, I don't like these baseball. I don't want to play baseball anymore. He's like, I'm Ted Brogan. And Ted Brogan's also the name when he's the baby. He's like, when
he's the adult.
Yeah, there he is, yeah.
The adult coming out.
His name was Ted Brogan. He used that name over and over.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's like Norm's Stan Hooper.
Stan, who we loved.
the-
Yeah. Certain names. Number 10, Ted Brogan, please. All right,
Debbie Downer's got to be on there.
Where you at on Debbie Downer?
I think Debbie Downer might exist between these two lists. I am pro the first time they did it, I think, and shakier each time.
Okay.
Diminishing
I
returns.
agree with that. Yeah.
Now, Mike, who's
Proper
a
cinema.
bad character for you? Who's one that you didn't like?
This is going to sound like blasphemy, but I didn't watch pretty much all of the Eddie Murphy era,
Okay.
and I thought
You were too busy. You were too busy bird
the
dogging
Gumby
chicks,
shtick.
right?
Yeah, the Gumby shtick kept popping up, and I'm like, he just says one line, and everybody dies when he says, "I'm Gumby, damn it." I'm like, really? That's it?
Gumby's pretty rough.
Gumby's bad. Yeah.
But is Gumby a character or an impression, my friends?
Oh.
But then we're going to get into the weeds. Yeah.
Well,
Because
it's a character
Gumby's a
because
character.
Gumby never talked like that. It's a reinterpretation of a concept.
Wait, what? Gumby never talked
He
like
didn't. I know it's weird to say. Your memory might be filling in
Yeah.
blanks when you
Some
watch the
Mandela
claymation
effect.
thing. That he was talking like this on the claymation.
that? Pokey, come here.
Yeah. Mike doesn't like Gumby.
Fair. Although I think is Mr. Robinson on the top 10 though? That is good.
That was a really great character, and
It was good enough to keep a show alive for
yes,
5 years.
put Mr. Robinson on the list. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Jordan in the chat saying Norm Macdonald as Quentin Tarantino. That's,
No,
an
that's an
impression.
impression.
that's really
And that's a very
really
good impression.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a great. Norm Macdonald.
I
did the
liked his
best
Burt
impression.
Reynolds better.
His Burt Reynolds.
right.
His David Letterman is
His David
very
Letterman.
unappreciated because he was doing the sad David Letterman.
Yeah.
But
Like,
but I think his impression. You guys are right with Tarantino. His impression of Tarantino kind of tops them all.
That's one of the best impressions I've ever seen.
Same.
Like he cracked the code on a person.
Yeah.
That'd be my worst nightmare. We've done a thing on the show in the past, Joe. It's Tom Pressions. And people would call up and they'd do their thing and me and it'd be like, fine. One guy called up and he went, wah, wah, I don't want to do the show. I don't want to do the show. And I've never been more hurt than
Cut
that.
to the bone.
The guy figured everything out.
Distilled it
He distilled it down.
and got you.
Yeah, in the Chad Jansen saying, you got any gum? When he would do the repeating, like the way
Just-
Letterman
yeah.
would run a
And
phrase into the ground.
Schaefer going, I got any
Masterful.
gum?"
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
What about, what about, this is one of my favorites. Garth and Kat.
Mm.
I love Garth and Kat.
Garth and Kat.
Do you know Garth
I almost
and Kat?
said Toonsis the driving cat.
Well, Toonsis is a puppet. I'm kidding.
Well,
Toonsis
first
would
things
be a
first.
character. To be fair, this is
fair.
not a character on the show. Does not have to be performed by a cast member
Or a human.
or a human. Garth and Kat was when Fred Armisen and Kristen Wiig would come on wearing matching vests, and they would pretend to not be ready for the thing, and they would improvise songs that they would actually do on
Yes,
the show.
live.
And to me, it's one of the funniest things because it's the game within the game of it's just like they're going against every rule of Saturday Night Live,
And
which
it
is
feels live. Like,
Yes,
you really feel that anything could happen.
yes. And I will watch those once in a while and just be mesmerized by the fact that they're out on a high wire in front of millions of people and they're just fine doing that. Like they're embracing the high wire part of it.
And it destroys. It
Yeah.
never bombs.
Garth and Kat, put them in the top 10 somewhere. Second half of the top 10, please. I'm bossing people around.
We don't
Put
have
'em in the top
Chris
10.
Farley yet?
Chris, well, who would you think would be Chris Farley? Matt Foley?
There's,
Yeah.
that's
Gap Girl?
One that comes to mind, Matt Foley. There's also the update character that, doesn't use deodorant.
Yeah,
That
the with the air quotes.
forget his
One-
name. I would like to offer Justin Timberlake's singing mascot as one of the worst.
Terrible. Coming in down the town.
Yeah.
Arrogant.
He's so high on himself.
So proud. That was, to me, one of the most painful SNL peripheral stars was when the era of Justin Timberlake on SNL would just be like, he's gonna be both musical guest and host.
I'm
And
so glad he was
rolls
busy
in.
for the 50th.
And he
Nobody wants him. They don't-
approaches it as though it is his gift to us.
Yes.
Like he knows he's so funny,
Yeah.
and he brings skit energy to any sketch he's in.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Put that
It's
on the
it's-
list.
And
He's the height of
Go ahead.
fun is funny. He's a very, he's fun, so he's funny.
Right.
Yes.
He's game. He's game, and so he assumes that, and he in sketches really would bother me. He would break, or he would the audience screamed. He would make some, entry level comedian joke like, "Hey, mom," or
Exactly.
he would,
Like that kind of stuff. Like he would be the kind of person, I never saw him do this, the kind of person who does my least favorite thing where if say Pat is walking toward us and you and I are talking and I see Pat coming and I go, well, Pat's really stupid and he's really, oh, hey, Pat, I didn't see, when someone does that, that's the kind of thing Justin Timberlake would do.
because he's just learning about comedy.
Yes. I'm going to now exert my executive privilege
Okay.
for the best list. Will Forte doing the character who is always at the end of those.
Hamilton. His name is Hamilton.
Hamilton.
I looked it up and wrote it down before I got
Hamilton
here.
when he's like,
Barack Hussein Obama.
where he would have the tinted shades and the
Blonde.
the Paul Williams kind of hair.
Paul Williams / Planet of the Apes haircut.
He's just like,
Grabs the mic at the end of a wedding toast.
Oh, I just want to say, this is a tribute
We could give it another shot.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hamilton, number 2. We're going all the way because that's truly one of the weirdest things on SNL. So we need one more top character, and we can move them around. If somebody wants to go top.
Sure.
Like I might just put Merv the Perv at number 1. Sorry, everybody.
Does Will Ferrell's Harry Carey make it anywhere?
I think that's too much of an impression.
Yeah.
Too much of an impression.
Yeah.
Um,
Mike, Samurai, where are you at on the Samurai?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's blasphemous to like knock some of John Belushi's stuff, but I don't think it's aged well.
No.
You know, and it's just like, it was funny at the time. People kind of liked it, but, you know, I can't watch that stuff anymore.
Originally, John Belushi they were considering when they were making 1941, Steven Spielberg was like, well, you can be the Japanese, you could be the role that literally Toshiro Mifune plays in 1941. And then Steven Spielberg was like, oh, we can't do that. We'll just write a new character for you.
Good. Good for Steven.
So they wrote the character everybody knows, Wild Bill Kelso.